The rain fell in sheets as Marcus Jenkins sprinted across the parking lot, his worn leather shoes splashing through puddles. Juggling his daughter's forgotten lunchbox, his briefcase, and an umbrella that had long since given up its purpose, he yanked open the door of what he thought was his rideshare and collapsed into the back seat. "Thank God you're here. I'm already late for," the words died in his throat as he locked eyes with the woman in the driver's seat. This wasn't his Uber. This was a sleek, luxury sedan with buttersoft leather seats, and the woman staring back at him wasn't his driver, but someone whose face he'd seen on billboards and business magazines. Olivia Harrington, tech CEO and one of the wealthiest women in the city, looked just as shocked as he was. What happened next would change both their lives forever, proving that sometimes, the greatest love stories begin with the simplest of mistakes. If you're enjoying this story so far, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming content that reminds us all that love can find us in the most unexpected places. Now, let's continue with this incredible journey of two people from different worlds, brought together by fate and a rainstorm. I'm so sorry, Marcus stammered, his face burning with embarrassment as he fumbled for the door handle. Wrong car. I thought you were my ride. Olivia Harrington's perfectly arched eyebrow raised slightly, but instead of the anger or annoyance he expected, a small smile played at the corner of her lips. In this downpour, I'm not surprised. Where are you headed? Downtown. Callahan and Associates, he replied automatically, still processing his mistake. I have a client meeting in 20 minutes that I'm already late for because my daughter's school called and, he stopped himself. I'm sorry. That's not your problem. I'll just go find my actual ride. Downtown? That's where I'm headed to. She glanced at his soaked appearance and the lunchbox clutched in his hand. Callahan's is on my way. I can drop you. Marcus hesitated. I couldn't impose. It's not an imposition if I'm offering, she said, putting the car in drive. Besides, I know what it's like to be running late. The universe rarely cooperates with our schedules. That was how Marcus Jenkins, struggling single father and mid-level accountant, found himself in the passenger seat of Olivia Harrington's Mercedes, the woman whose company had revolutionized medical technology and whose net worth was rumored to be in the billions. So, your daughter forgot her lunch? Olivia asked, navigating through the rain-slicked streets with practiced ease. Marcus looked down at the Wonder Woman lunchbox in his hands and smiled despite himself. Yeah. Lily. She's 8. Called me in tears because she thought she'd go hungry. Her school is only 10 minutes from my office, but with this rain and traffic. You're a good dad, Olivia said simply, and something in her tone made Marcus look at her more closely. For the first time, he noticed the shadows under her expertly applied makeup, the tension in her shoulders beneath her tailored blazer. This wasn't the polished, confident CEO from magazine covers. This was a woman who looked tired. Thanks, he said. I try. It's just been the two of us since my wife passed 3 years ago. Olivia's hands tightened imperceptibly on the steering wheel. I'm sorry for your loss. Thank you. The words were automatic now, after years of receiving condolences. What about you? Married? Kids? A brief shadow crossed her face. No. Neither. My company is my baby, I suppose. Harrington Biotech takes up most of my time. I've read about your work, Marcus said. The prosthetic limbs with neural interfaces. It's incredible. Something genuine flickered in her eyes. You follow medical technology? My wife was a physical therapist before she got sick. She would have loved what your company is doing. The car slowed as they approached a red light, and for a moment they sat in silence, the rain drumming on the roof creating a cocoon of unexpected intimacy. I don't usually pick up strangers who jump into my car, Olivia said finally, a hint of amusement in her voice. Marcus laughed. And I don't usually jump into strangers' cars. Especially not those belonging to famous CEOs. Famous? Hardly. Your face is on a billboard 2 blocks from my apartment. She grimaced. That was my PR team's idea. I hate it. Why? You look. He stopped himself before saying beautiful. Professional. The light turned green and Olivia accelerated smoothly. I look airbrushed and nothing like myself. But that's what sells medical technology, apparently. A perfect face with perfect teeth telling people their imperfections can be fixed. The bitterness in her voice surprised him. Is that why you started your company? To fix imperfections? She glanced at him as if reassessing him. No. I started it because my brother lost his arm in Afghanistan. The prosthetics available were inadequate. I wanted to give him back what he lost. Did you? Give it back to him? Her smile faded. No. He died before the technology was ready. Complications from his injuries. I'm sorry, Marcus said, and meant it. It's been 8 years, she said, echoing his earlier tone. The practiced response of someone who had received too many condolences. They arrived at the imposing glass building that housed Callahan and Associates. Marcus gathered his things, suddenly reluctant to end this strange encounter. Thank you for the ride, he said. And for not calling security when I invaded your car. Olivia smiled, and this time it reached her eyes. Maybe the universe knew what it was doing. On impulse, Marcus pulled out a business card and handed it to her. If you ever need accounting services, or just want to talk to someone who doesn't know you from a billboard. She took the card, her fingers brushing his. I might take you up on that. As Marcus watched her drive away, he had no idea that this chance encounter would be the beginning of something neither of them had been looking for, but both desperately needed. 3 days later, Marcus was helping Lily with her homework when his phone rang with an unknown number. Is this the man who kidnapped my car? Olivia's voice had a warmth to it that hadn't been there during their first meeting. Marcus laughed, moving to the kitchen to talk while Lily continued working on her math problems. I prefer to think of it as an unplanned car-sharing experience. Well, I'm calling to propose another one. This time planned. There was a slight hesitation in her voice. I have 2 tickets to the Natural History Museum's new dinosaur exhibit this Saturday. My niece was supposed to come with me, but she's come down with the flu. I remembered you mentioned your daughter is 8, and I thought, well, 8-year-olds like dinosaurs, right? Marcus was momentarily speechless. Lily loves dinosaurs. But are you sure? You don't have to. I want to, Olivia interrupted. Unless it's weird. Is it weird? A stranger inviting you and your daughter to see dinosaurs? Technically, I was the stranger who invaded your car first, Marcus pointed out. So I think we're even on the weirdness scale. And that was how, on Saturday morning, Marcus found himself standing with Lily outside the museum, watching a woman worth billions approach them wearing jeans, a simple sweater, and a baseball cap pulled low over her face. Are you hiding from someone? Lily asked immediately, with the directness only children possess. Olivia looked startled, then laughed. Sort of. Sometimes people recognize me, and they want to talk about work. But today is for dinosaurs, not work. Lily nodded sagely. Dad says the same thing. He says weekends are sacred family time. Olivia glanced at Marcus with a smile. Your dad sounds very wise. What was meant to be a simple museum outing turned into one of the best days Marcus had experienced since losing his wife. Lily was enchanted by Olivia, who, it turned out, knew an impressive amount about dinosaurs. And Olivia seemed equally enchanted by Lily's endless questions and boundless energy. As they watched Lily press her face against the glass of a T-Rex exhibit, Olivia spoke quietly. Thank you for today. It's been refreshing. We should be thanking you, Marcus replied. These tickets are impossible to get. Lily's been talking about this exhibit for months. Not for the tickets, Olivia clarified. For treating me like a normal person. For letting me spend time with your amazing daughter. For. She hesitated, for making me remember there's a world outside board meetings and investor calls. Marcus studied her face, seeing beyond the carefully maintained facade to the loneliness beneath. When was the last time you did something just for fun? She thought for a moment. I honestly can't remember. That's a tragedy worse than the extinction of the dinosaurs, he said solemnly, making her laugh. Dad. Olivia. Come see the baby dinosaurs hatching. Lily called from the next exhibit. As they followed Lily's excited voice, Olivia's hand brushed against Marcus's, and for a brief moment, their fingers intertwined. Neither acknowledged it, but neither pulled away either. What began as a chance encounter evolved into something neither of them had anticipated. Olivia became a regular presence in their lives: Sunday brunches at the small diner near Marcus's apartment, impromptu visits to the park where Lily could show off her soccer skills, quiet evenings after Lily went to bed where they would talk for hours about everything and nothing. For Marcus, it was both exhilarating and terrifying. Olivia was unlike anyone he'd ever known: brilliant, driven, occasionally intimidating in her intensity. But she was also surprisingly vulnerable, starved for genuine connection in a world where everyone wanted something from her. For Olivia, the Jenkins household became a sanctuary. A place where she wasn't CEO Harrington, where board meetings and stock prices didn't matter. Where a little girl's laughter and a man's kind eyes made her feel something she hadn't felt in years, like she belonged somewhere, with someone. But their worlds were fundamentally different, a fact that became painfully clear 3 months into their relationship. Marcus arrived at Olivia's penthouse for their dinner date to find her pacing, phone pressed to her ear, her voice sharp with frustration. I don't care what the shareholders think. We're not rushing this to market before it's ready. These are people's lives we're talking about, not quarterly profits. She noticed Marcus and held up a finger, mouthing sorry before continuing her call. No, that's final. I'll address their concerns at the meeting tomorrow. She hung up and sighed deeply. I'm sorry. Crisis at work. It's okay, Marcus said, moving to kiss her cheek. Everything all right? No, she admitted. The board is pushing to release our new spinal implant before all the testing is complete. They see dollar signs, I see potential lawsuits and, worse, people getting hurt. You'll convince them, Marcus said with confidence. You're the most persuasive person I know. Just last week you convinced Lily to eat Brussels sprouts. The board should be easy after that. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. There's something else. The meeting tomorrow, it's in Zurich. I have to leave tonight. Tonight? But we were supposed to take Lily to her school play tomorrow. You promised her you'd be there. Guilt flashed across Olivia's face. I know. I'm sorry. I tried to reschedule, but this is too important. People's safety is at stake. Marcus ran a hand through his hair, frustration warring with understanding. I get it. I do. But Lily's going to be devastated. She's been practicing her 3 lines as tree number 2 for weeks, specifically for you. I'll make it up to her, I promise. I'll be back in 2 days, and we can have a special celebration. That's not the point, Olivia. She needs consistency. She needs people who show up when they say they will. The words hung between them, heavier than intended. Olivia's expression hardened slightly. You think I don't know that? You think I want to miss her play? But this is my company, my responsibility. Thousands of people depend on me making the right decisions. And one little girl depends on you keeping your promises, Marcus countered, immediately regretting his tone. Olivia turned away, her shoulders tense. This is who I am, Marcus. This is my life. I can't just walk away from my responsibilities because it's inconvenient. And I would never ask you to, he said more gently. But this isn't the first time, and we both know it won't be the last. I'm just worried about what it's doing to Lily. She's already lost one important woman in her life. The implication that Olivia had become that important to Lily, to both of them, silenced her. When she finally spoke, her voice was quiet. Maybe this was a mistake. Maybe I was fooling myself thinking I could fit into your lives. I can't be what Lily needs. What you need? That's not what I'm saying. But it's true, isn't it? Olivia interrupted. You need someone stable, someone who can be there consistently. That's not me. It can't be me, not with my life the way it is. So what are you saying? That we just end this because your life is complicated? Everyone's life is complicated, Olivia. Not like mine, she said, a hint of bitterness in her voice. You have no idea what it's like to have every decision scrutinized, to know that thousands of jobs depend on you making the right call. To have the press following your every move, waiting for you to fail. Marcus stepped back, hurt by her dismissal. You're right. I don't know what that's like. Just like you don't know what it's like to watch your wife die slowly over 2 years while trying to explain to a 5-year-old why mommy isn't getting better. We all have our burdens, Olivia. The question is whether we carry them alone or together. For a moment, the penthouse was silent except for the distant sounds of the city below. Olivia's eyes glistened with unshed tears. I need to go, she said finally. My plane is waiting. We can talk when I get back. But as Marcus watched her walk away, he wondered if there would be anything left to talk about when she returned. The next evening, Marcus sat in the elementary school auditorium, trying to focus on the children's play rather than the empty seat beside him. Lily had been quiet all day, her usual excitement about the performance dampened by Olivia's absence. She's not coming, is she? Lily had asked that morning, her small face serious. She had an important work emergency, sweetie. She tried really hard to stay, but she couldn't. Lily had nodded, too understanding for her age. It's okay. Mom used to miss stuff too, when she was sick. The comparison had pierced Marcus's heart. He'd called Olivia twice, but the calls had gone straight to voicemail. Now, as he watched his daughter on stage, her tree costume slightly askew, reciting her lines with perfect timing, he felt a complicated mix of pride and sadness. When his phone vibrated in his pocket, he ignored it, not wanting to miss a moment of Lily's performance. It was only during the intermission that he checked the message. It wasn't from Olivia, but from his sister. Turn on the news. Olivia Harrington's plane went down over the Atlantic. They're saying there are no survivors. The world seemed to tilt beneath him. This couldn't be happening. Not again. Not to Lily. Not to him. He must have made a sound, because the parent next to him asked if he was all right. Somehow, he managed to nod, to sit through the second half of the play, to cheer when Lily took her bow. All while his mind screamed in denial. It wasn't until Lily was safely asleep that night, clutching the stuffed triceratops Olivia had bought her at the museum, that Marcus allowed himself to break down. Sitting in his darkened living room, he scrolled through news reports confirming the worst. A private jet carrying Olivia Harrington and 3 others had disappeared from radar over the Atlantic. Search and rescue operations were underway, but hopes were dim. He didn't sleep that night, or the next. How would he tell Lily? How could he explain that another person she loved was gone forever? The cruelty of it was unbearable. On the 3rd day, as Marcus was trying to figure out how to function, how to be strong for his daughter while his own heart was shattering, his doorbell rang. When he opened it, he thought he was hallucinating from lack of sleep. Because there stood Olivia, pale and